Hello there, I'm Blackmore, and I'll be speaking to you through this funny dog avatar because my face doesn't need to be seen on the internet. I've been playing Teppen for 4 years now, since launch all the way back in July of 2019, and I've been a semi-active member of the community ever since. However, recently, I've found myself more and more bored isn't the right word. Disappointed. That's it. Disappointed in the current state of the game. And that disappointment has a name attached to it. Oichi. I want to make something very clear about everything you are about to hear. All of this is my own personal opinions of the current state of the game, my thoughts on balance, and, most divisively, how the game can be improved. Now, all of my thoughts on this matter may very well be outdated by the time this goes up, as this script was written on the 25th of October, 2023. With that being said, let's talk about Teppen. For the past 7 months, Teppen has had an issue. That issue is a single hero and her hero art, Dark Invitation. Ever since the addition of Turnabout Festival, Oichi has been one of, if not the best hero in the game, and it's getting frustrating. It's clear the developers are aware of this, and yet they've done nothing to remedy the situation. I'm here to vent my frustrations in a healthy and somewhat biased manner. I am an X-main. I play him almost exclusively, and every day it feels like a struggle to climb with him. Now, this may be because I'm at best a mid-tier player, but I genuinely feel like the meta is against anyone who isn't playing the decks that are in the replay channel on a daily basis. And for the better half of a year, that has been Oichi. Occasionally, you'll see Morrigan or Rathalos, but out of 5 available replays at any given time, at the very least, 3 of them are either going to be Oichi mirror matches, or just have Oichi in them. The meta has entered a state of stagnation not unlike what we've seen in the past. Like during the early years where there was no set rotation, which let Wesker and Akuma stand on top unchallenged. This stagnation is a product of the dev team not having enough time to properly balance the game. Every balance patch that is released feels like a band-aid on a broken arm. Nice in sentiment, but it's not actually fixing the problem. I've said in both earnest and jest that the devs couldn't balance a seesaw, and this sentiment couldn't be more clear than with October 23's patch notes, where 4 cards and 2 hero arts were balanced. Out of those 4 cards, only one, Gutsman.exe, was recent enough to justify its nerf, and while both the hero arts were welcome, the Hadoken buff was entirely unnecessary. In addition to this, at the end of the patch notes, the devs say, "We will continue to take into account the effects of additional cards, decks, and their win percentages when moving forward with balance changes," like they always do, and yet no meaningful changes have come. So, let's talk about balance we'd like to see. Now, I'm simply a voice in the crowd. My opinion is worth diddly squat, mind you, but it's my opinion and I'm going to voice it. First and foremost is nerfing Dark Invitation. Simply adding a seal to the unit it's used on is more than enough to keep it in check. Next is Rathalos' dive attack. Giving a whole board crush for a period of time rather than for one attack is absurdly strong. Changing it to effective for one attack is a step in the right direction, at least. But instead of just only offering nerfs, I'd also like to suggest a buff, specifically to Charge Shot, a hero art that, like Gaia Armor, has gone untouched for an extended period of time, and is extremely hard to use due to this. Giving it all friendly units gain +1 HP after 5 seconds, effective 3 times, in addition to its base effect, is a good way to improve the hero art in a way that doesn't involve completely overhauling it, and justifies its high AP cost. Finally, I'd like to bring up my stance on community health. Part of the stagnation I mentioned earlier is due to a lack of new blood in the game. I believe this is primarily due to a lack of marketing, especially to the Western audiences. I learned about TEPPEN from content creators who were sponsored to play the game during its early years, like Maximilian Dude and Woolly Versus. But now you'd be hard-pressed to find even the slightest amount of press regarding the game. But in a time where mobile games go out of their way to falsely advertise what their game is and how it plays, TEPPEN and Gung-Ho could be a ray of honesty in a pitch-black void of false marketing. And doing so could very well reinvigorate the player base, shaking up the meta in the process. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. The problem with TEPPEN is multifaceted and doesn't just stem from Oichi being overpowered, but rather the devs not looking at a deck that has been top of the leaderboards with an excessive pick rate and not doing anything about it. It's been that way for every deck that's gotten too powerful in the past, but for some reason, they never do anything about it until it's about to rotate out. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you all very much for visiting the basement. I've been Blackmore, and I might do more of this in the future. Until then, stay awesome.